Uganda has for several years been grappling with open defecation. Uganda's latrine coverage currently stands at 79%, according to the recent report from Ministry of Health. Kampala slums have been cited as a talking point, but to evaluate the burden countrywide, we traveled to northern Uganda, and to my dismay, the case was almost the same. Open defecation is usually done in bushes or by roadsides into polythene bags, which are thrown into trenches or drainage. Arop Wilson, the environmental health officer Lamont district, whom we found at Paddy Bay Health Center 3, revealed that latrine coverage in the district was at 38% as of 2014 when he was transferred to the district. This increased to 64% in early January last year, but later dropped to 55%, citing heavy rain that washed away many latrines. Hand-washing facility as part of the sanitation habits is also a challenge in Lamo district.
When COVID struck, we realized a very big increment in the coverage of household hand-washing facilities. In 2014, hand-washing was standing at around 23%. So if you take like 100 households, you find only in 23 of the 100 households, they have hand-washing facility that is working well. In June, hand-washing facility coverage rose up to about 75%. And of course, it started coming down. Just as how the people were responding, also the response started slowing down.
According to World Bank, 13.8 million Ugandans use unsanitary or shared latrines, which is the case here. In Omiyanima sub-county in Chitugumu district, there are over 20,000 people, but hygiene is among the challenge hindering the area. According to Otto Julius Peter, the sub-county chairman, people's ideology towards use of latrine is hindering their health system growth.
The local community, others have negative attitude that defecating in open place is far much better than defecating in the latrine. Secondly, in other places, when you go for constructing the latrine, you don't do it very well because some other places are very rocky, which is very hard for them to dig a pit latrine. Secondly, other places also so have a high level of water lodge. And when you dig at least this only 5 feet, you will get too much water. For you to construct a modernized latrine, a minimum of 15 meters down deep should be constructed.
According to the WHO, Uganda spends over $380 million, which is approximately 1.8 trillion Uganda shillings, on treating diseases related to poor sanitation. Annie Mercy Ouma, the community-led total sanitation project officer in Omiyanima sub-county, revealed that the sub-county consists of over 40,000 households, of which only 1,800 have latrines.
If you are to see the percentage of people with latrine of only 1,800 and the people practicing open defecation, you find that really Omiyanima sub-county has a lot of challenge. The villages that I work in, you find that in a village there's only 2 latrines and the rest of the people are defecating in the open.
With some of the sanitation campaigns put in place, Ouma revealed some of the outcomes.
In the process of triggering, I was able to make them understand their situation, their sanitation situation. And they were able to appreciate, and later on, they were ashamed. Like, for example, this village that we are in, we triggered within 2 weeks. The village members agreed to construct their latrine just within the 2 weeks, and it was done. As a CLTS officer, I was able to follow up with them closely. Actually, within the 2 weeks, I was able to have 2 meetings with the sanitation committee because in the process of triggering, we select the sanitation committee together with the community members. And those sanitation committees, we train them on what they are supposed to do. That is follow up on the households. Because if you are to see, in Omiyanima there are 110 villages and only 5 CLTS officers are supposed to work. So this sanitation committee are like our sanitation agents in the villages.
Northern Uganda districts were designed with slopy and rocky texture in nature. Bushy areas are also many, which gives chance to those embracing open defecation. Omonyi Emmanuel Peace, the environmental health officer Chitugumu district, also noted that poor sanitation practices is still a huge challenge in the district that forced them pass bylaws with strict enforcement as they aim to its reduction.
We have the local government acts that gives the local governments opportunities to come up with ordinances, and even the lower local governments to come up with bylaws. We have ordinances and bylaws on sanitation, and they clearly state that every household, like for us in Kitgum, we have an ordinance that states that every household is supposed to have a latrine. So once there is no latrine, then you have really faulted the law. For us here, there are fees up to around 50,000 shillings. Also arresting the person if they persist not having the latrines, and it also gives opportunities to the people who are enforcing the laws to pick a few things from the homes of this person who is not compliant.
Pointing out the 50,000 shillings penalty for those faulting the law in Kitgum district, as said by Emmanuel Peace, the Environmental Health Officer Kitgum district. This is far beyond the stipulated 2 currency point in the National Public Health Act, which is equivalent to 40,000 shillings. When asked about the matter, the response was a complaint to the National Act.
The Public Health Act was formulated way back very many years ago, and then 2 currency point was a very big burden to every household. But now as time has gone on, you realize the inflation and the rest of it, 2 currency point has become nothing. And if you subject someone to the 2 currency point, they will rather stay without latrines and keep giving you the 2 currency points. So that's why the districts and the makers of these bylaws in most of the districts come up with something that can really itch you, so that if they remove that thing from your family, you feel the pain.
Regarding Public Health Act, the Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Trini, also had something to say.
This is an old, very, very old act that has never been revised, and when we are implementing it, we find there are so many gaps. For example, if you do something, the penalty they prescribe is very, very annoying. 200 shillings, you pay 200 shillings and then you get away. So we want to amend that. We want to change that whole Public Health Act, but also to bring all other laws. We repeal all other laws of public health of nature, and we put them in one law, and we strengthen the penalty component.
Open defecation and water attract each other. When it rains, the excrement is washed away into water sources like rivers, lakes, sources of drinking water, and other domestic uses, hence increasing diseases like diarrhea. Looking at goal number 3 of the Sustainable Development Goals that seeks for good health and well-being by 2030, Uganda is still far with a continuous problem of open defecation. This has led to increase of avoidable diseases and requires government intervention with more sensitization campaigns on sanitation and increase on public toilets to ensure zero practice of open defecation.